Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is your weekly tarot forecast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, especially if this reading resonates with you, and that way you won't miss any of the weekly tarot readings that we do for your sign. All right, so let's just get into it and see, what does Gemini need to know? What are the messages coming through for Gemini today? First card, oh, we've got the Ace of Wands. That is a beautiful card, very strong, very energetic card. We're going to lay out the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And as always, that is going to include a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. And I think today we'll use the Waite Smith deck. These are pre-shuffled. We'll just pick a random card out of this deck for our mystery card. We're going to leave that right there. We're not going to look at that until the very end. And we're just going to see if that'll tie the reading together or, give us that confirmation that we're looking for at the very end, so stick around. But we've got a lot to get to. And right off the bat, I see a good balance of fire. There's some water, there's some air. There's not a lot of major arcana. There's just one major arcana card. We'll get to that in a few minutes because that's on the path of the Serpent, kind of towards the end. I think that's going to be an important card. But let's just get into it and see what we can understand about these two, which is kind of, the Ace of Wands is your situation this week. But then the Four of Cups is kind of coming in to battle that a little bit, right? So I see that this is really going to be a week of energy and inspiration for you, right? I feel like you really are going to have this fiery energy that's going to be motivating you, propelling you, really giving you this excitement, enthusiasm, and maybe like a really strong passion for something this week, right? And, I kind of think this is going to be in relation to your romantic life, your love life, your domestic life, your partnership with someone. I think that you're really trying to strengthen your bond with someone. Now, it could be a romantic partner. It could be a very close friend or family member. It's someone with whom you have a very close relationship. That's what I'm feeling. And I think that this week, with this Ace of Wands here, it's going to be a week of inspiration, motivation, passion, real excitement and enthusiasm for this relationship, right? And again, doesn't have to be romantic. It could. I think it probably is because of some other cards that we see, but it doesn't necessarily need to be romantic. And I think then we've got to ask ourselves what this Four of Cups is doing here. Because this is a situation that is rather stagnant. This is an energy that is trying to get to that level of passion and enthusiasm and some sort of like excitement and movement, right? But this is a card that's just kind of on the periphery of that excitement, right? And what I always say about the Four of Cups is that it's a ship that is trying to steer clear of the storm, right? Excuse me. It's a rather stable energy, right? It's not, there's nothing really upsetting about it. There's nothing moving in this card. This is a ship that is right on the outside, right on the edge of that storm, and has yet to kind of make a move either way. Are we going to go through it and weather it? Can we handle it? Are we going to go around it, avoid it altogether? It may take longer to go around it, but that's usually the safest bet, right? So this is that energy, I think, this week where maybe this is where things have been, what you've kind of been feeling lately, is that things are a little bit stagnant. There's no movement yet. And it could be that you're deciding whether to go through the storm or go around it. We see some other cards here that might be indicating something of a decision, something of a hesitancy before that big move. Right? But again, I think this is in terms of your relationship with someone. The nature of that relationship with someone in your life that you're very close to. And it could be that that interaction, that communication, that relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, is just kind of stagnant. There's not a lot of excitement there. There's not a lot of movement. Things aren't growing. Things aren't progressing. It's like you're on the edge of this really great, adventure, this really kind of grand excitement, which is kind of the storm that the ship is kind of looking at, right? But you're not yet, or your relationship is not yet making a move either into that storm, into that excitement, into that great passion, that maybe that great love affair, just that great adventure and enthusiasm, right? Or if you're going to just go around it, go in a different direction, okay? But I see as things stand right now, there's this kind of a bland taste to it, right? It's good, it's a fine meal, but there's nothing extraordinary about it. There's no spice, there's no excitement, right? I love using food metaphors, by the way. So I feel like this is kind of the reason why we are seeing this Ace of Wands here this week. And I think that this is you really wanting, needing, desiring, requiring this kind of spice, this excitement, this something, right? And I think really the issue this week is for you to kind of decide whether or not you're going to use this Four of Cups, go through the storm, get that excitement, take your relationship into this more exciting phase or stage or energy level. Or if you're going to take your desire and your will and your passion somewhere else, different direction. If you're just going to go around and navigate somewhere else for this energy, because this is the energy that you feel. You feel this lust, passion, excitement, right? And it's an ace. It's an ace. It's the number one. So this is still like in the beginning stages. It's still a really strong, powerful urge that has not yet been put into action, put into practice. It's not yet manifest. So I feel like that's where we're at in terms of this kind of the edge of this storm. You're right at the edge of this passionate life and relationship, and you're just trying to decide kind of if your situation now is where that energy, this Ace of Wands energy, should go, is where you should focus that, or if you need to change direction, steer the ship somewhere else, right? That's kind of the vibe that I'm feeling for this week. Now, some other indications, I'm not just making all this stuff up. Some other indications of that, first of all, is this recent past card, Ace of Cups. I feel like this is maybe a relatively new relationship that you're in, right? It could be that you've known this person for a long time, but the romantic part of it has just kind of started. And so you're still trying to figure things out. I think you're still trying to determine if this is the area for that passion of yours, if this is the right relationship for you to have that feeling and to express that and to really manifest this fire energy, this Ace of Wands energy, right? So I think this is somebody that you've known for a while, and it may have just become a romantic situation, right? Or maybe you haven't known them for that long, but I still see that this is a new romance, okay? A new relationship, at least with this level of interest, okay? So there are little subtle indications that I'm feeling that it might be someone that you've known for a while, right? And now you're just starting to have these kind of feelings for each other, or this attraction, and you're wondering if it is going to be worth entering that storm, that excitement, taking things to that level where you are going to express and manifest your passion, your lust, your desire, right? This fiery energy. or if this is not the right situation for that and you're going to navigate somewhere else. You know what I mean? So the fact that we see this really strong Ace of Cups here is telling me that there are a lot of feelings here. It's someone that you really do feel a lot of love with. Okay. And again, this doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be a platonic relationship that just needs some spice, some excitement, some kind of passion and enthusiasm there, because maybe right now it's just kind of dull. But there's a strong connection. There's this Ace of Cups connection. I think that it's something rather new. Maybe these are some new feelings that you're having, right, with this person. And here we are in this Four of Cups situation, trying to deal with this Ace of Wands energy. Okay. Now, I don't know if I want to go to the near future first, or maybe take a look at some of these underlying elements. Down here in the position of what's kind of underneath the surface, we see a card that I think represents you, Gemini. This is a Knight of Swords. This is a very passionate person. I think this represents you, because the Knights are the fiery aspect of the suit of swords in this case, right? So the fiery nature within you. And I think this is kind of underneath the surface. This is like this really fiery energy about you, this passion, this lust for life, this desire and need for like more spice, right? More excitement and enthusiasm, more passion in your life. And I think this is something that's been going on with you for a while. This is maybe kind of underneath the surface. Like it's not something that you've been 100% aware of, right? And I think that you've had this kind of, how to phrase this. It's just like there's been a little bit of a dullness in your life, and you don't really, or haven't really at least, understood exactly why that is. And I think that is really about this fiery energy, this ace, really, this Ace of Wands, that's really trying to get out, really struggling for expression. And I think that it's been beneath the surface for some time, where you've been feeling a little bit of discontent with your life or with the nature of your relationships or this particular relationship. That you just feel like something maybe is missing. There's just this slight feeling of discontent. And I think that you've got this fiery energy that is just trying to get out. It needs expression. And I really think that you're going to feel it a lot more this week with this Ace of Wands. You're really going to feel the need in a very obvious, conscious way. You've got to release this energy. You've got to have this passion, this spice somewhere. Right? And I think another influence here, or another important factor, and this might just kind of summarize the reading altogether, is this Five of Swords. Now it's an air card, just like we saw with the Knight here, the Knight of Swords representing some of your subconscious energy. And then here we have some of your conscious energy, and this is a Five of Swords, right? This is like that feeling like you've been trying to express this passion. You've been trying to live an exciting, fulfilling life, one full of adventure and enthusiasm and passion, right? But there are things in life that seem to be preventing you from doing that. Or the circumstances that you're in, they always kind of seem like not the right circumstances for you to really express yourself, express your creativity, your passion, your excitement, enthusiasm, your spice for life, right? And it just seems like any opportunity that might arise for you to do that, there's some reason not to. Somehow it doesn't seem to work out. It's not the right alignment of energy for you to really express that side of you. And I don't know how much this is you convincing yourself that this is the case, right? Because with the Five of Swords, it's a lot of this kind of this underdog feeling, this feeling of being defeated. But a lot of it comes from our own mind. I think we convince ourselves that the timing's not right, this person's not right, the situation's not right for me to really pursue my interests, my passions, let my true self shine, right? And so I think that what this reading is really about is this tendency of yours to maybe sacrifice that side of yourself a little bit. Maybe you tend to be easily defeated by circumstances that seem to be against your expression, right? It seems like you're always having to kind of contain yourself within your environment, your circumstances, your situation. And I think a lot of this is self-defeating, especially with the Five of Swords here, since obviously we're talking to Geminis out there, and that's an air sign. And we have this Knight of Swords also, like I said, was this kind of unconscious desire to express this side of your being, of your soul, of your personality, of your energy, of your spirit. So when this is not allowed proper expression and it stays beneath the surface, it's going to start causing some mischief, some shenanigans in your life, right? And so it's kind of one of those vicious cycles where the more you try to express it, you end up kind of defeating yourself, defeating your own efforts, pushing that energy back down. The more it gets pushed down, the more it tries to force its way out, maybe at the most inappropriate times, in inappropriate ways, or just in extreme ways or in disruptive ways, right? So it's trying to come out, this unconscious energy is trying to express itself, but maybe a little bit is your mind convincing you that you shouldn't express that. This isn't the right time, this isn't the right situation, the right circumstances. So down it goes again, beneath the surface. And then, we have this constant exchange, right? It's a constant, like, push-pull battle kind of friction there. And I think you're feeling that in your life. And in one way in particular, I think, this is the immediate future card. This is the Seven of Wands. I think the result of this kind of repressing your own energies kind of thing is a lot of physical fatigue. I think it really is making you feel tired. Just to simplify it, I think you're tired. I think you're feeling a little bit maybe burnt out, a little bit run down. And I think that is in no small part due to this tension between your unconscious will, your unconscious desire for expressing this fire energy, and then your conscious mental efforts to keep it contained or to restrict it in some way. And the more we restrict it, the more energy it gets to try to force its way out, and that's causing a lot of fatigue, right? It's an exhausting kind of battle that's going on. And now in the immediate future, this card also signifies that you have to really just battle the odds. You have to just go up against this greater force and do what needs to be done. It's not an easy task to do either of these things. It's not an easy task to allow this energy to be expressed, right? And it's not an easy task either to keep pushing it down or repressing that energy. But the way forward to overcome this exhaustion, to overcome this kind of battle between, head and heart, I guess, something like that, that's not an easy task. But in order to overcome that battle and that fatigue, it's going to have to just take just courage. You're going to have to find ways to express that energy. And again, it may not be in the situation that you are in now, to kind of pull this back to this relationship that we were talking about. It might be or it might not be in this situation. Now, I personally think if this is the situation you're in, if this is the relationship that you find yourself, well, might as well go for it. Might as well try to be yourself, express your passion, your creativity, express this fiery energy. Because we do, remember, these are the first two cards we got, and we see that you're in this Four of Cups situation now. This is your environment. This is your relationship. You might as well go for it and try to get that fiery passion going. Express that in this relationship. And maybe you're going to drive that ship right into that storm. And maybe it's all going to be terrific, wonderful, fantastic. Maybe it's not going to work out. But that's all right. Because the alternative is to continue this kind of, this battle of opposing energy and continue on this path of fatigue and exhaustion and feeling burnt out, rather than just throwing a little bit of caution to the wind, saying to hell with it, I'm just going to be myself and express myself. And if people don't like it, tough shit. But it's better than the alternative. It's better than keeping this kind of duality, this struggle, this battle, and continuing on this path of, fatigue and this drain of your physical energy, but your spiritual energy as well, right? Your vitality. And so that's what we see on the path of the dove here. And I think that's a pretty involved situation, right? I don't think that's something to take too lightly. I think there's a lot of opposing energy here, right? We have the water and the fire. And then we've got this air on both sides that is trying to sort it out, trying to contain it, trying to analyze it. It's your conscious mental attitude dealing with this opposing fire and water. All right. So you're trying to use your mind to get a handle on this fire-water energy when your mind is not really going to be able to solve the problem, probably just going to make it worse. So part of the idea here is to stop thinking about it so much. You know what I mean? Get out of your head a little bit and just let it flow. But we're going to get to some of these other energies now because we're going to move over to the path of the serpent. And the first card that we come to is another water card. And this, I think, is representing you, your ego, your headspace, where you're at right now. And this is suggesting to me that you might have a little bit of trouble discerning your own real feelings about this relationship perhaps, or about how you feel in general, or what you want, what your desires are, what really is going to fulfill you and satisfy you. And I think you're having a little bit of trouble expressing that, which makes sense when we think about all of the energy we just talked about on the path of the dove, right? I think it is something that's been on your mind lately, is trying to figure out what you want and how to go out and get what you want, or express what you want in your life, in your relationship. This is the Queen of Cups, right? This is that watery energy that's trying to understand itself, trying to understand others, trying to understand the relationship between self and others. But it's like you're looking at it a little bit darkly and dimly through this veil. It's not quite clear yet. And I think that's your general headspace, general energy right now. Okay. Now let's go now to the nine of Wands here. And this is in the position of your relationship itself, how you're relating to this person. I think the two of you have a strong bond. That's why I think maybe you were like really good friends for a while, or you've known this person for a long time. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of connection there. It's a really strong bond. And then maybe either you're thinking about taking it to the next level or starting a romantic thing, putting some of that spice into that relationship. Or this is something that has recently progressed to that level. It's recently like advanced to a romantic thing. Okay. But with the 9 of Wands here, it really is trying to connect our head and our heart, which is, we mentioned that on the path of the dove, where that's kind of where this conflict is with you a little bit. And I think that in particular with this person that we're talking about, and I don't really have an indication of who that person is, right? I don't know what their sign might be, what their personality might be like. Don't have any indication of who they are. But I feel like you're really trying to decide if what you feel in your heart is a real feeling, if this is a true feeling that you're having, right? Like an authentic love or interest or desire for this person. And you're trying to think with your heart and feel with your brain. Things are a little bit switched around, a little bit confused. And I think that has a lot to do with what we saw in the path of the dove, with all of this fire and water, and then this air, this mind, this mental function, trying to contain, trying to sort out all of that energy, that passion, and that love, right? So you're really striving to get your head and your heart on the same page, to strengthen the connection so you know what you want and you're able to realize it first, become aware of what you want and express it and then act on it and go out and get it and have it, right? Manifest what you want. And that really does connect with what we were saying here with the Queen of Cups. And this rather hazy view that you have of your own desires, emotions, feelings, right? That watery element. So, I think this card serves a couple of functions. One, I think it is suggesting that this person that we're talking about, this other person, is someone that you've known for a while, or you've connected very strongly on maybe a platonic level first. And now you're really trying to sort out your feelings if it's the kind of relationship that will benefit from you using your fire, right? Using this spice, this enthusiasm, this passion and lust by initiating that in your relationship, if that's going to steer this ship in the right direction, right? If you're going to get out of this kind of, again, I don't mean any offense, but this rather bland thing that's going on. It's just rather kind of basic right now. And you really have this fiery energy about you that you want this spice and excitement and enthusiasm. And so there's some conflict here of how you're going to get that excitement, that adventure, that passion, that love and lust, right? That fiery energy in your life, in your relationship. Is this the relationship that can have that kind of energy, that can handle it, and that can satisfy your need to have that in your life, right? So the next card that we come to is the one major arcana card. This is the Chariot. This is in the position of your fears, worries, concerns, something that's going to cause you anxiety, something that is maybe an obstacle to overcome this week. And this, there's a few ways to look at this energy. I think that this is, in one sense, this is your readiness to have the kind of relationship that you want, right? To have this stable, balanced Four of Cups relationship, but with all of this fire added to it, right? So this card's about readiness. I think you've had a lot of experience in life. You've been through a lot. You've learned how to take care of yourself, how to be responsible for your own movements, your own actions, right? Your own life. And you're a pretty well polished and evolved individual. I think that you have a very practical side to you, a very responsible sense about you, right? That whatever situations come up, you can adapt and function very well, right? You're able to really blend into your circumstances and get things done, be productive, be successful. But I think that kind of blending in prevents you from really expressing who you are completely. And I think it's a little bit restricting of your true fiery nature. Do you know what I mean? And so there's this readiness now to have the kind of life, to have the kind of adventure that you really feel like you want, that you feel driven towards. And with the chariot, if we look there, the chariot's got their armor on, it's polished, the wheels are greased, the sphinxes are all fed and groomed, right? Everything is prepared. Everything is ready for this adventure. You know what I mean? The car's packed. It's all gassed up, ready to go. But there's just this hesitancy now to start the engine, hit the gas, right? To get the thing moving. And I think, again, that goes back to what we were saying with the Four of Cups, where it's, do you go straight ahead through the storm? Do you navigate around it, right? What is the best path for you right now? And so as a fear, as an obstacle, I think you could have this idea that you're not ready, that you don't know if you're ready, that you don't know if maybe what you want is not so traditional, is not so, mainstream. And so there's this hesitancy to really move forward with this, even though, I think energetically and in terms of your life experience and where you are, in life, I think you're ready to express yourself and to really have a clear idea of your own desires, your own path, and go for it. But there's still this hesitancy. There's still this feeling like you're not quite prepared, you're not quite ready, you're not quite certain which direction to go. But I think with this Chariot card, I'm really getting this feeling like the obstacle is being not prepared, not ready, right? You're worried that it's going to kind of get out of hand, get out of control. It's going to kind of just take off on you, Like you don't have a firm grip on this chariot, that once it starts moving, you might not be able to control it. You might fall off. It might roll over. Things can happen, right? It's a chariot after all. So I think that's the obstacle to overcome. I think if we convince ourselves that we're not ready, if we're waiting for that day that we feel like I'm 100, 1,000% prepared, I'm ready to go, I don't think that day will come. I think every day we'll say, well, I could always just wait a little bit longer. I'm not quite ready. I don't have such a clear vision yet, or a clear plan or blueprint. I'm not quite ready. That, I think, is the obstacle to overcome. I think it is also this maybe a small, minor unwillingness to open yourself up and be vulnerable, right? I think if you were to express this fiery energy, it's going to open you up to getting hurt, right? Getting your heart broken, getting disappointed. So I think there's a little bit of that fear going on too, and that's all, to me, part of that hesitancy that I'm not ready, it's not the right time, it's not the right circumstances. And that ties right back into this self-defeating Five of Swords, convincing yourself that it's not the right time, that the circumstances are too overwhelming, it's not the alignment's not right, timing's not right, etc., etc. So this is the obstacle that needs to be overcome. And by doing that, you're going to be, with this Two of Swords energy, this crossroads, this decision that will have to be made. This is really, the Chariot is going to have to pick a road, right? Because once you get over this hesitancy, the Chariot's going to start moving. And you're going to have to hold the reins and pick a path, pick a direction to go. And what we said at the beginning is that direction straight into the storm, or are you going to circumvent it? And that's kind of the decision that's going to have to be made at the end of all of this kind of internal energy flow. It's going to have to be action, initiating action in a chosen direction, right? And it doesn't mean that there are only two possibilities. There are infinite possibilities. So let's take a look at this confirmation card again using the Waite-Smith deck. You know, this could be something like the World card. That would be fairly appropriate. This could be some more of that fire energy that we're kind of talking about mostly in this reading, is that fire energy, right? There's a lot of fire here today. I think very important fire. But there's also, you know, a lot of air and a lot of water too. So what is the main focus? What is the main takeaway from all of this? What is that key that's going to unlock the entire reading? Let's find out. All right, well, you know, we're back to the Four of Cups. We're back to the Four of Cups. These two cards, they don't really look similar. Same energy. Same energy. And, you know, I think with the Waite-Smith deck, the Four of Cups might have a slightly different flavor than in the Thoth deck, right? This metaphor that I'm using is about that ship that's right on the edge of the storm, not sure to go straight through it or go around it, right? So it's just kind of floating there. It's just kind of, you know, just floating along. Things are stable. Things are kind of bland. It's a meal that's nutritious. It doesn't taste bad. There's no spice, right? And then with the Waite-Smith, we have the Four of Cups as well. So it's the same kind of metaphor, but I think this card's trying to add to that metaphor. And this is saying that, you know, because things are not as ideal as you would like them to be, because this food is not the most gourmet meal you've ever had, that you're just refusing to eat it at all. You may be sitting there really hungry and thirsty, but because this isn't the finest wine, you're going to refuse even the glass of water, right? So this is kind of, you know, taking this ship sailing ocean metaphor and saying that, you know, you're refusing to go through the storm and you're refusing to go around it for whatever reason, because it doesn't have, it's not the best storm. It's not the most ideal circumstances. You don't have the best ship. You don't have, you know, the right people with you. It's not the right circumstances. It goes back to that Five of Swords. It's not the right time. Things aren't perfect. Therefore, I'm going to refuse anything. I'm going to refuse to take any action. I'm going to refuse to take any nourishment or enjoyment because this isn't the most ideal form of that, right? So, you know, it's like you're refusing $1,000 because it's not $10,000. You know? I mean, it's money metaphors, right? Everybody loves money metaphors. So, you know, I think with the Waite-Smith confirmation card, this is really coming back to this. I mean, we're really right back where we started, right? With that Four of Cups. And, you know, I think that it's really about, on the one hand, seeing what you have, appreciating what you have now, and using that as the best possible situation for you right now at this moment to express yourself, to go with this fiery energy, to give it a shot, to get the chariot moving, right? So it's like you have to function within the environment that you find yourself. You have to try to do your best in any given situation. And so because this isn't already the perfect scenario, you're just going to sit there and fold your arms and say, well, I'm not going to do it then. But meanwhile, all of this energy is going on around you, and you still have this fatigue and this conflict between your head and your heart, between the fire and the water energy. And I really think that you need to reach out and take what's there in front of you, and not be so not reject everything because it's not exactly what you want right now at this moment. You know what I mean? So I hope that confirmation works for you. I think it really does tie everything together. It brings us right back to where we started with that ship, that storm, that excitement. Are you going to go forward with it? Are you going to go in a different direction? Or, I guess, are you just going to stay where you are and refuse to do anything? And I don't think that's going to work out for you, especially because we saw that as a potential future outcome, and it's just going to be more fatigue, more drain on your energy, more stress and exhaustion, right? So Gemini, we're going to look at this a little bit more in the extended version. You can become a member to this channel by clicking on the link in the description box. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot.